Ms. Sams, you're here today requesting that this court grant you a paternity test to prove that the defendant, Mr. Dorris, the man who is on your birth certificate, is not your biological father.
That's correct.
Mr. Dorris, you say that you are heartbroken that Ms. Sams claims you are not her father and say there is no need for a paternity test. You know you are her biological father, and you've never been told differently. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Now, the court must decide if there is sufficient evidence to order a paternity test in this case. Ms. Sams, why do you need the court to order this test?
Well, Your Honor, in 2009, I believe, I went and had a family function with my mother's side of the family. I was speaking with my uncles, and my uncle said to me, "How's your daddy doing since he got out of prison?" So I said, "What do you mean? My dad's never been in prison." And I said, "Who do you think my daddy is?" And he said the other man's name. And I said, we were having some drinks, so I was just, okay, well, I'm gonna see Mr. Dorris tomorrow, so I'll talk to him about it. So we were sitting at my grandmother's house at the time, his mother, and I said to him the other man's name, and I said, "What is this that I hear about this other man?" And he said, "I never want to hear that name out of your mouth again." And it was ended just like that.
And this was the first time ever in your life that you heard anything like this?
Not exactly. When my sister and I were both pregnant at the exact same time, we were making comments back and forth to my mom because of blood work that had happened. Our lab work was done about the same time, and there were factors in one of our pregnancies that would typically only be if we had the same mother and father. So at that time, I said something to my mom about it, and my mom laughed about it. And she was like, "Well, there was this time in my life, and, things were crazy," and kind of laughing.
But at that time, she still maintained that Mr. Dorris was your biological father.
Never really talked about it. Like, just kind of dropped it.
She knows that. She would have told you.
Well,
she wasn't.
She did, but right before she died, she said, "I think that you need to have this done." So why would she say that?
What does she say to you exactly, Miss Sams?
She said, "Well, if you have that feeling and we've had all this information, you need to be tested and you need to find out."
And
She
Mr.
said
Dorris,
that because she just wanted you to be ensured that I am your dad.
Mr. Dorris, you've had no doubts all this time. You firmly believe you are Miss Sam's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I was at the hospital when she was born, her first breath. I got the birth certificate. And
I'd like to see that, Jerome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a certificate of birth for Diane Dorris, and you're listed as father. You have pictures in your hand. What are these pictures of, Mr. Dorris?
Me and her, my little girl.
Beautiful father-daughter pictures.
That's a beautiful picture. However, I don't doubt any of that. I know that he was there when I was born. I'm aware that he's on my birth certificate. I have to know what is going on. For my sake, I need to know.
No doubt in my mind.
And you get very emotional when Miss Sams begins to talk about her doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm entitled to my feelings as well, and I'm entitled to the facts. And I need to know this. I need to know this. For me, I need to know. That's why I need your help. I need you to help me and do this test for me. It is so important. I just need to know.
Mr. Dorris, what was the nature of your relationship with Miss Sam's mother?
I met her at a bar, and we just clicked right off the bat. I mean, we were together like 3 months, and we ended up getting married.
Really?
Yes, she was not pregnant when I met her.
Okay.
She wasn't sleeping with no one else but me.
Okay, so you met her, you had sex with her, and then 3 months later you got married. You know when you married my mom?
I think it was October 77.
No, you did not. You married my mom June of 1979 in Oklahoma.
Well, I know we were married in Oklahoma.
So you married her.
So we had sex before then.
Yeah, you just said 3 months before then.
No. We had sex in 77. 3 months later, I assume we got married.
No, you got married in 79, in June of 1979.
She's saying you got married almost 2 years later.
Yeah, I have the marriage certificate. I have their marriage certificate and divorce decree from my mother's previous marriage to another man that she didn't divorce until April of 1979. This is why I have so many doubts. He just confirms it by, he doesn't remember things. Obviously, he doesn't even remember when he married her.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
Do not hear what you said about when you were married to my mom, and I'm telling you when you were married, but I am not incorrect about these dates. This is harbored in my heart for years now, and I know my dates about this stuff. I know when my children were conceived. I know when I was conceived approximately, and you're off by 2 years, for crying out loud.
Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah, well,
I ain't got the best memory in the world.
What she's saying is because you're not clear on all of the facts, it only just increases her doubt that maybe your assertion that you're her biological father is not, it's not firm, it's not accurate.
Well, she told me I'm the only one she slept with.
But, well, Miss, what Miss Sams,
right?
I need you to understand that whether they were married or not, they still could have conceived you, of course.
I absolutely understand
And he's
that.
just presented your birth certificate, which means he was present when you were born.
Your Honor, I honestly believe there was good reason for that. If there was a reason why my mother wanted him to be my father and didn't have the other man as my father, there was a very good reason for it. The other man in 1978, in October of 1978, and did not go to prison until, well, he went to jail and then he got bonded out, so for trial. And that would make sense why my mom would not want that man in my life.
So after 33 years, you want to bring this up now?
I've been bringing it up, you just don't listen. So I'm just putting all this out there like I'm trying to figure it out in my own head. Why they would do this to me.
And it is confusing.
It's the biggest confusing mess ever. My mom was married 7 times and was single the last 10 years of her life. I have several siblings. It's just crazy to me. My whole life is just a crazy mess. And I need one thing answered for my children and for myself. I need this answered. It's only fair. And now, a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with mixed connective tissue disease. And I need to know what side of the family I came from so that my cousins on my mom's side of the family could potentially know what, if they need to be tested and keep up with the blood work and find out if they're carrying mixed connective tissue disease and they have the ADA high levels like me. And they took them, I was diagnosed 10 years later than I should have been. And my doctor has said, my rheumatologist has said, it is genetics or it's predominantly diagnosed in African-American women in childbearing age or in post-menstrual.
Mr. Dorris, does this particular disease run in your family?
No, Your Honor.
It does not?
No.
After my mom died, things got really, really, really interesting because I went to clean out her home and do what I needed to do. And I found a document that in 1980, my mother amended a birth certificate.
Really?
What?
And I have that proof right here.
Jerome, may I see that proof, please?
I don't know if it was because of a spelling error. I don't know why it would have been amended, but like I have so many questions. I don't get it.
So this is paperwork from the state of California indicating that there were additional certified copies of a newly amended birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dorris, you were never told by her mother, informed, or received any notice about an amendment?
No. Hearsay is saying that I'm not your dad. I'm here
don't
telling you
have
I am your
hearsay.
dad.
Did you not just see an amended document?
I know I was there when you were born, and I know
That doesn't mean-
what she told me, she was not sleeping with anyone else.
Your mom told him there was no one else. It's just all he knows. It's the information he has. I want to hear from your witness, though.
Okay.
Please stand, sir, and state your name.
David Wayne Hooper,
Mr. Hooper, you are Miss Sam's,
uncle.
which would make you her mother's brother. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What information do you have about this paternity mystery?
Well, in 77, 78, when my sister moved to my hometown, she was with another man at this time, the man that she had mentioned earlier. About a year or so went by and he was gone, okay? And at that time, my sister had conversation with my father, saying that she had been a little late. A little further down the line, Mr. Dorris comes into the picture. They fell in love, they got married real quick, and then right after the baby was born, they just disappeared.
You believe your sister was already pregnant before she got into the relationship with Mr. Dorris.
Unfortunately, yes, ma'am. I truly believe she was.
But you don't
And
know that for sure.
No, and let's be...
Not a fact, no.
No.
Sir.
Okay.
Sir.
And is that during the time when she was with this other gentleman? You knew her to be with this other...
This is right after he had gone to jail.
The other man would have been in prison when I was born, okay? However, he was not incarcerated during the time that I would have been conceived. That's the only thing he and I can come up with because nobody's ever told me or told him or told our family why one day these people just pack up with my other siblings and myself, a new baby, and just take off to California in a car.
And we did that because your mom's mom was out there.
She'd been
She-
out there the whole time.
Right.
And let's
Not a
be
fact.
clear, nobody wants this other man. No, nobody wants this other man to be my father. Let's be clear about that.
My word ain't good enough.
No, it's not good enough because your dates aren't good enough. The documents prove otherwise. Your word is not good enough right now.
And that's why you came here.
Yeah.
And in light of the testimony presented today, especially from Mr. Hooper, who indicated that he truly believed that she was pregnant at that time when she met Mr. Dorris. Additionally, the paperwork you uncovered after her death, and also the statement she made to you on her deathbed. This is all sufficient evidence. You are hereby ordered to go immediately, submit to a paternity test, and return to this courtroom where I will read you the results. Are we clear?
Thank you, Your
Yes,
Honor.
Your Honor.
Court is adjourned.
I'm a basket of emotions. I am scared. I'm excited. I am nervous. I am terrified. I don't know. I won't be relieved until this is over.
It kills me to just for her to tell me I'm not her dad. And when I know deep in my heart I am.
We're back in session in the case of Sams versus Dorris. Both parties have submitted to the DNA testing that was ordered, and I have the results for you. Before I get to those results, is there anything you'd like to say?
Your Honor, I still believe she's my daughter. I have no reason why not to believe it. No reason, no doubt.
Ms. Sams, is there anything you'd like to say?
I hope he is my father, but I just cannot get over the fact that my mother amended a birth certificate.
And that's exactly why this courtroom exists, to bring clarity to situations like this, so families know how to move forward. I have your results for you. Are you ready?
As ready as
Yes,
I'm
Your
gonna
Honor.
be.
Jerome, the envelope. Thank you, sir. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Sams versus Dorris, when it comes to 36-year-old Diane Sams, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Dorris, you are not her father. I'm so very sorry.
I told you, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I knew. I'm so sorry.
I know this was not the news you wanted.
What are we gonna do?
Starts a whole new chapter over again.
What are
There we
do?
go, Mr. Hooper. There we go. Family, the truth is a catalyst
36
for a new
years.
beginning.
36 years.
It can be if you allow it to be. It gives us clarity. You don't have to feel out of place anymore. Now you can choose your place. And that's different.
Amen.
The truth gives you power,
Amen.
right? And as you look to Mr. Dorris,
I feel so
and I have never seen this before, but when I went to read those results and I got that envelope, he held the picture of you and him up to his heart, facing forward. I have never seen a father do that.
He loves me.
He loves you.
I know he loves me.
And in his mind, in his heart, you're his little girl. And look, you're holding his hand in this moment because you're there for him. And he's been there for you. That's what's important. Ms. Crowley, you have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 2-year-old son, Dior.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim to remember the exact night you conceived, and therefore, he is your child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Houston, you say you are certain that you are not her child's father and claim to have proof to support your case.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Houston, she says you do nothing for Dior. Is that true?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor. And only reason why I don't, because I feel like I wasn't gonna do nothing for the baby until I found out he was mine. Me and Dawn, we've been knowing each other since we was kids. We grew up. I went to Detroit, came back. I met her. She was going through her little situation with her boyfriend. So we connected. I even got evidence of the proof of when me and her got together and all of that. It was just, when she told me that Dior was born, there was no way it could have been my baby because I was out of town. I haven't been back in Rochester for numerous of years. So when she was contacting me, I told her I wasn't gonna do nothing until we found out Dior was mine. I asked her, I told her I'd pay for a DNA test, she denied it.
Ms. Crowley, Mr. Houston is saying he's doing nothing for this child because it's not his.
I gave him an opportunity when I went to child support, and I did it when my baby was around 6 months. I got the DNA test. He never showed up for it, so he's not trying to see if this is his son.
Because I was not in town.
So you went and you tried to get the DNA, but you say he didn't show up for that and he's done nothing for the child.
Nothing. I've been taking care of him by myself, trying to go to school, work.
This girl been infatuated with me since we was in 8th grade.
I had a crush on him when I was in 8th grade.
When we
That
in
was
middle
it.
school, she wanted to talk to me. I didn't give her no time of day because she.
I never tried to talk
she
to
was
him.
always-
I didn't even know if he even knew me. So I don't
did
even know what he's
but
talking
I didn't
about.
give her no play because she looked like a nerd. Me and her didn't have no type of, no nothing. We were just
A nerd that he eventually talked to, but so.
So you finally did ultimately
Right, yeah.
see how beautiful she was.
He had to like me some kind of what. He's telling me he loved me. I'm sending him money and all type of stuff like that.
Honestly, me and Dawn, we reconnected when I came back. That's why I had the evidence. When I came back to Rochester, she was going through a little issue. I know, like I once told you, I've been knowing her since we was kids, since 7th grade. So when I saw Dawn, she told me what she was going through with her previous relationship with her boyfriend. So her sister put her out. My mother, right here, she has a...
My sister never
Well,
put
at
me
the
out.
time, she told me her sister put her out, but I don't know if she got put out or not. She came to stay with me and my mother.
Never stayed with him and his mom. I lived around the corner. When did I stay with
So
him
you're
and his
saying
mom?
she came to stay at the house with his mother and you say you never did?
Ask his mom, did I stay there? I
Have
spent
you
the night
ever
a
spent
couple
the
of
night
times.
at his mother's house?
Spent the night, that's about it.
Staying with me, your clothes there, you eating there.
My
spending
clothes
the night.
was never
Shoes
there.
at my
The
house.
bottom line is that's how this relationship
It
started.
was never no relationship.
It was just a sexual.
It wasn't even no sexual. She, basically,
Well, clearly
So
you
you
wouldn't
wasn't
be
having
here
sex
if
with
there
me?
was.
basically, I ain't seen you in a couple years. I like you now. What's up? We grown. Basically, we did what we
A
did.
sexual relationship.
Sexual
wasn't even no
relationship that was telling me that he loved me and stuff like that. And I'm his baby mom and sending me all these kind of text messages. He loved me, all of this and all that.
Yeah,
he
that's
lying.
a lie.
He lying.
Yeah, that's a lie.
If he didn't steal my phone, I have the text messages right now.
Now I stole.
In your mind, this was a relationship, Ms. Crowley.
Yes.
You were in a relationship.
Yeah.
I was you in a relationship. When I came around, she had a whole boyfriend. I was staying
That
with her.
wasn't my
sleeping on her
boyfriend,
sister's
and
couch.
he knew that I was messing with other people. That wasn't my boyfriend either.
So Norma, she was sleeping around with a lot
wait a
of
minute.
men.
Wait.
Not like a relationship, just
So
me
you
and him
were
relationship.
sleeping with other people during the time you were also sleeping with Mr. Houston?
Yes, and he was too.
You're saying
No, he
that
got-
even though you were with other men while you were with Mr. Houston, you know the exact night you conceived.
Yes.
What night is this?
March 11th.
But how do you know that's the night you conceived?
That's the date that the doctors gave me.
Yeah, I got information staying right here. What she's telling you is a lie.
Jerome, let me see this evidence Mr. Houston has. Sir, what is this exactly?
That's a calendar.
All right, and this
Okay.
calendar,
The blue marker, that's she stayed in March 11th. That's when she said we had sex, correct? The other markers right there, I couldn't leave the state due to I had something going on. So on the 20th,
so you were out of state
I was out of town, yes. I was in
on
Detroit.
March 21st.
Yes, ma'am.
not
I mean, I
saying
got
nothing.
to Rochester the 23rd because I caught the Greyhound. I left on the 22nd, I got there on the 23rd. I didn't meet Dawn until this day.
Let me see that calendar as well. On this particular calendar, it shows you met Miss Crowley, you say on April 13th?
That's when we had sex. right?
That's when you had sex?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying the day she says she conceived on March 11th may be her conception date, but it wasn't with you?
I wasn't even in Rochester on that date.
And Dior was born on December 11th.
Correct.
So, Miss Crowley, you say this is not correct. You say the conception date was
So
March
I spent,
11th.
I spent the night at his house
He
by
says he
myself.
wasn't even allowed to be in that state then.
I don't know what he lying about that too then. I don't know. I don't know what situation he was
Yeah,
in.
and I couldn't leave the state because I was on probation. Being honest with you. So I know for a fact I wasn't in New York March the 11th because my probation officer didn't let me leave until the 21st until I got signatures saying that I can leave.
And you're saying not only did you not leave, you weren't even intimate with her until April 13th.
Yes, ma'am. Her boyfriend left her for another girl. She came around sad. I was the one to come.
That wasn't my
She
boyfriend
been
and he
doing-
didn't leave me because
He's
I
staying
still was
with
talking
you.
to him too. How about
Y'all
that?
having unprotected sex, that's your boyfriend, correct? If
I was
stayed
having
with-
sex with
if I-
you too. Is you my boyfriend then?
That's when you wasn't messing with him no more. He left you. You ain't had nobody but me. So
That's what you think.
So, Miss Crowley, you were having unprotected sex with Mr. Houston.
Yes.
one time, Your Honor. The first time we had sex, we had sex with a condom. Dawn told me late sex irritate her. So I asked her, I said,
I never told him that either. See, he lie about
Listen,
everything. So
Your
he
Honor,
lying about half the things that he's
Your
saying
Honor,
to you right
The
now.
last dude she was with, I asked her, I said, the dude
I
that was
don't-
staying with
latex
you, was y'all
don't
having
irritate me.
unprotected sex? She said
Why
yes.
were you then having unprotected sex with Miss Crowley when you thought she had a boyfriend?
No, I only had unprotected sex with Dawn the night when on April 13th, we had a block party. Dawn, she stayed right around the corner from my mother's house. So when we had the block party, we was all drinking. Me and Dawn, we did our
I
1-2
don't know
without a
anything
condom.
about this block party because I didn't go. I don't know what he talking about.
Well, why would you have unprotected sex with her or anyone if you didn't want to have a child?
See, I was drunk. It was happening one time. That's when she popped up. She didn't even tell me she was pregnant or nothing. She popped up in October and told me she was pregnant. Months
I
later.
told him
And that's
I was pregnant a
2011.
little while after I found out. And I brung him and his mom the ultrasound pictures.
So when you
Ultrasound
first
pictures still.
found out you were pregnant, Miss Crowley, why didn't you call him?
I did let him know a little while after.
Listen, yeah.
How long
I was
after?
still going to his house when I was pregnant.
So when she told you she was pregnant, Mr. Houston, what was your reaction?
The baby not mine because I couldn't have no kids.
What do you
Listen,
mean?
listen. I got this paper right here from my doctor, correct?
Jerome, may I see that, please? What is this paper stating?
In 2009, I had surgery on my left testicle. It's called testicle contortion. What it is, boys like how they lay their body at nighttime when you shift. We have tubes inside our testicles that circulate blood flow. When I was asleep, I shifted my body one way, my testicle went one way, so my left testicle swelled up as the size of a softball. I got rushed to the hospital. When I made it to the hospital, the doctor just told me if I didn't come in just in the nick of time, I would have lost that testicle. So my sperm count was gonna be down. I probably couldn't have kids for a while. That was 2009.
So testicular torsion.
Yes, ma'am.
And it requires emergency surgery.
Yes, ma'am.
I had my
You are
baby.
correct. Blood flow cut off for too long, and it can cause the inability to father children.
Correct.
So you're saying that the dates being off, coupled with the fact that you had this injury, makes you doubt even further that you are Miss Crowley's child's father.
Correct.
But he
But
shouldn't
I asked you to
have
get
any.
the DNA test. What you tell me? No. I told you I paid for it out of my pocket in Michigan and
He
sent it to New
never
York.
said he
You
never
said
tried
no.
to pay for any DNA
My mother
test.
right
when
here.
When I went through child support, why didn't he go to that
Because
one then?
child support
He
didn't want
said
me to come. They wanted me to do it in Grand Rapids, so they had my mother swab. But Dawn wanted me to come to Rochester. I wasn't finna put my life on hold.
Dawn didn't want you to do anything.
There was an opportunity to take a DNA test and you didn't go through with it.
I did my part being my baby. He never showed
No,
me.
Your Honor. CPS contacted me. They said Dawn lists you as a father. As you can see, right here on this birth certificate.
Let me see that, Jerome. What is that, Mr. Houston?
That's your birth certificate. I didn't even sign the birth certificate, and he got my last name.
So why did you decide to give the baby Mr. Houston's last name?
Because it's his baby, and he know that's his baby. That's why he came to the hospital and his mom was there when I had the baby.
Right.
But that's not his baby.
No, Your Honor, my mother called me, was like, Dawn's mother came, Dawn's having a baby. I was at the club that night, my mother called me and was like, come up to the hospital. When I got there, my mother was gone.
Why
It
would
was
you do
her
any
mother
of that if
and all
that's
that.
not your baby, or
But
you don't think
when
that's
Dawn
your baby?
talked to me after she had the baby, her exact words was, I just had the baby, come see the baby. I said, is you gonna bring the other guy up there? She said, no.
Mr. Houston, is this a picture of you holding?
Yeah, her mama took it. Yes, that's correct.
And his mom didn't take it. My best
Your
friend was
mother
there.
took it.
My best friend took that.
My mom
not
wasn't
my
even at the
mother.
hospital. I was on the
But
phone
you
with
don't
my mom.
have a look of doubt. You look like a proud dad in that moment.
He's
Yana,
taken.
Yana, listen, think about it though. I'm coming from the club, I've been drinking, I'm intoxicated. I get to the hospital. As soon as I walk in, I don't get no visitor pass. Her mother handed me the baby and it's like, stand by Dawn and take a picture. I did what her mother requested.
Your mother is here. I'd like to hear from her. Ma'am, please stand. Miss Houston it is,
Good
am I
morning.
correct?
Yes.
What do you know about this situation, Miss Houston? Do you believe this is your grandchild?
Okay, now the situation with my son, he didn't make it to Rochester until the 23rd. I offered to pay for a
She
DNA.
never offered to pay for
You a
anything.
lie.
She
And
never
don't make
offered
me
to
come
pay
over there
for
and
any
smack
DNA test.
fire out of you.
Hold on.
I offered to pay for
She
a
never
DNA
offered to pay
test.
for anything, or I
She
would've let her
told
pay
me
for it.
that no,
Why not?
because you need D'Angelo to swap.
So you're saying that it is true that your son was not even in town
He didn't get there until
until
the March
23rd of March.
23rd.
Despite that, you still tried to be in the child's life.
Because this is the thing.
She met me
At the
before.
end of the day, it's not about Dawn, it's not about D'Angelo, it's about Dior.
Right.
It's about that baby at the end of the day, you know? And I'm the type person that I'm a loving, kind-hearted person, and I will help anybody.
It's clear that you stepped in to try to be a grandmother, but if I look at the calendar that's presented, you obviously have concerns and doubt because you're saying your son did not get to you until the night of what? March 23rd?
March, yes.
And Ms. Crowley saying she conceived on March 11th.
Well, you know what, Your Honor?
Are you saying that your son was not in town on
no,
March
he was
11th?
not in town on March 11th.
Were you with any other man around March 11th?
Probably.
So you're admitting that there is another person you slept with during this same window of conception. But you say because the child doesn't look like the other guy, you've decided that it's Mr. Houston's.
Yeah. And if they
That
put up
baby
the
don't
baby
look like me
picture,
anyway.
my baby look exactly like his baby picture.
Dior,
My baby look
Dior
exactly
don't look
like his
nothing
baby
like me,
picture.
nothing like my two boys, none of that.
What I want to know, Ms. Crowley, is when you know you've had sex with other people as well, why would you give the baby the last name Houston if you knew you had slept with someone else during the window of conception?
That's because I'm that sure that it's his baby.
You're saying the baby looks like him, but you gave the baby the name Houston when he was born. So how could you tell at birth that he looked like Mr. Houston?
I don't have an answer for that.
Like I've been telling her, I wasn't gonna do nothing for the baby till I found out 100% he was mine. So it's not like I don't want to be a part of his life. I just wasn't gonna do nothing because I don't think that child's mine. And I don't feel I should be paying for something that's not mine and she's sleeping with another guy. That's why I didn't do nothing for her child. But if he's mine, I'm gonna take care of him like a man's supposed to do, and she won't have nothing to worry about.
time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Crowley versus Houston, when it comes to 2-year-old Dior Houston, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Houston, you are Dior's father.
He was out of town. Like, he was out of town. How was he out of town?
Hey, can I see the baby?
How was he out of town?
The first thing out of your mouth when I said you are the father is exactly what I want to hear.
Okay.
What did you say?
Can I see the baby?
That's why we're here. The rest of it, at this point, doesn't matter.
Oh, you want to hug me?
No. I'm good.
Cool.
I'm really good.
Cool.
You gotta let go of this bitterness now, because you got this baby. He's 2 years old. The truth is, you were correct. And now your child, your son, has the opportunity to have his father in his life. The man sat up there and said, you don't have a thing to worry about anymore. I'm going to take care of my child. And he has the opportunity to have a grandmother that wants to be a part of his life. I know you may be angry because you feel like they said things about you that aren't true, but that's the point of a courtroom, just so we're clear. You tell your side and what your recollection is, and they tell their side of what their recollection is. But the DNA is going to solve the case.
Amen.
Ms. Hooker, you are here with your mother because you say the defendant's son, Mr. Abraham, fathered your 10-month-old daughter, Kanaya. You say that Ms. Baker and her family's public denial of this child has caused you pain, and you are here for an apology and to prove her son is the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Baker, you and your daughter are here today to represent your son, Mr. Abraham, because tragically, he was killed 3 months after the birth of this child. You say that before his death, your son expressed great doubt that he was the father of Ms. Hooker's baby, and you are here to put the lies to rest. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
How have you been affected by Ms. Baker's doubts about Kanaya's paternity?
I'm just sad sometimes. I try to deal with it now. Like, I really don't care no more. Like, that's how I feel. I don't care anymore. I don't care who feel nothing about my baby. I don't care. It just seemed like everybody else was looking upside my head like I'm an animal or something. Like, every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm the outcast of the group. She looked like me, so why is it a problem? That's why I just say I don't care about nothing. And none of that. I don't care.
That's not the way
so,
that you go about doing
Ms. Hooker, let me ask you, what was your relationship with Keyshawn? Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
First we was best friends. 6th grade year, we was best friends, and then we started talking. Then we stopped talking, and just like we stopped talking. Then we started going together for a minute, and then like when I got pregnant, it was just like we always talked, but we just stopped going together. But we still talking though, but we just stopped going together. Like we weren't boyfriend or girlfriend.
Okay, but then you still talked.
Yeah.
Were you in love, or was
Yeah.
this was your first love?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I jump in?
please.
It's not that she don't care. Her feelings been hurt, so she hold a guard up. It's not Miss Baker who denies Kenaya. It's her family who makes my daughter feel some type of way. It's not Miss Baker. She was too fat to be his baby. She fat like them, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff. Never from Miss Baker. It's always her family who always have something to say about my grandbaby. My daughter's feelings have been hurt. It's always talk about her like she this tramp, and I'm like, enough.
So, Ms. Baker, explain to the court why there's doubt that Keyshawn is Kanaya's biological father.
My son was on vacation, and we kept hearing that Denia was pregnant, but then when we finally found out for sure, he told me. He said he wasn't the only boy that had messed with Denia.
Okay.
And he made me promise that we was gonna get a blood test, and things didn't go the way we thought they were gonna go, and now we're here.
Well, I'm so very sorry for your loss. Let me say that. I know this is difficult. May I ask what happened to Keyshawn?
He was shot on a Sunday, and he died that Friday.
I'm so very sorry.
He just told me to promise him that we was gonna get a test done because of what the other young man said, and you know.
What did the other young man say?
He told Keyshawn that when he wasn't around, he was supposedly sleeping with Denita.
Miss Hooker, I have to ask you, was there another guy?
No, because that's why it's funny, because how can somebody tell me who I was sleeping with? Nobody in the room was in the room with me when I was sleeping with somebody. What do I have to lie for?
Keyshawn told us that he wanted the blood test. The only way, Keyshawn only denied the baby when him and my daughter was arguing. Other than that, I have pictures with him laying on her stomach. He had doubts only when he was angry. And I cannot get mad at what he tell his mother or nothing like that. But when he came over there with us, he held the baby, kissed the baby, and loved the baby. We just need to get the results for Miss Crowley. Because anybody else, to me, it doesn't matter. It's all about her. And he did ask her to get the blood test. For it won't be no doubts on their end about my grandbaby, because it's sad now.
I agree.
And it's not even Miss Baker. It's her family who makes it like she just sleeping around with everybody.
And they don't know me like that for them to be saying anything about me.
Said something. From what I ever heard about my family, nobody ever talked about her.
It all occurred at her house. Then when go.
I know my mom said something about, she had a birthday dinner, and my mom did tell me, she said something about she think I didn't like her, or, you know, things like that. Maybe her perception of what other people view of her is just her perception, because she has to understand that sometimes it's hard for people to look, for me personally, to look at the baby, because it's just a reminder that my brother's not here. So it's not about her and her feelings. When she does come around, it is a sense of sadness for me. So it's not that, you know, somebody looking at her crazy. They're just dealing with the murder of their loved one. So it's not, you know, about her.
How did you learn that Miss Hooker was pregnant?
She ride the same bus as my daughter and my granddaughter does from school, and they had came home like prior months before. They had said she was supposed to be pregnant. And I asked her, I said, do you know anything of your daughter being pregnant? I say, because the girls said they were on the bus, and she's saying she's
gonna
like,
find out what she having tomorrow.
What she's having and what she's gonna name the baby. And she was like, no. So when she got home, she ended up texting me a picture, telling me, yeah, she is pregnant. And
we went the next day and found out what she was having.
Yeah.
So your mind, Keyshawn accepted that he was the father of this child.
Yeah, in my mind.
From the way he behaved at your home. But Mom, Ms. Baker, did he give you any proof or anything that there was this other guy? Because Ms. Hooker testified that this was the only person she was sleeping with at that time.
I think he just went off what they're saying in their circle of kids. You know, they talk, they have their own.
Yeah, the boy was telling him that, you know, when you were away, I was messing with her. He was unsure to the point of where he was just sick. He was worried,
scared.
He was scared. He lost so much weight. He lost a whole lot of weight. Like I told him, you played grown, now it's time to be grown. Because if it's your baby, you not finna run and you not finna leave the whole bag on her.
Him or my family are not those kind of people to do that. What did I do to her?
Oh, you can't go. Don't go there, Miss Blanche. Don't go there, Miss Blanche. Don't go there, because you know the truth is you.
We're all here to talk, honey.
This is
no.
What I'm saying.
Not you keep commenting on stuff.
What I'm saying.
So why you keep talking?
Listen, this is what we ain't gonna do.
Yeah.
We come here to go back and forth with each other.
You know
exactly.
What? And I ain't never, Judge. I ain't never said yay or nay. All I say is what my baby said to me. Right. I've talked to her, and she know why we here.
Exactly. And listen.
Yeah, I'm the one who
and
wrote
that's
the letter.
all I'm concerned with. All this other bickering, and I don't got time for it. Because at the end of the day, this my baby.
Right.
And he gone.
Right.
He not coming back. So all this other extra stuff, I don't got time for it.
And that's exactly why
All
it's so
I wanna know,
important.
I'm here to do what I promised my son to do. I'm not trying to do anything against anybody to make her feel bad. I ain't never been denying them. We never had a problem. She come stay the night when she feel like it, her and the baby, everything. They was just with me at my birthday dinner. I ain't never did nothing, even though my son telling me that he wasn't sure. I have never did or said anything to make her feel no bad kind of way, because like I said, they was kids. She's still a kid.
Yes.
And I didn't come here for no badgering, no bickering, trying to put nobody down.
Right.
I came here because this is what I promised my baby, and it's going to be done.
And the truth is, Miss Baker, and you're right.
Right now?
You're right.
Judge, my daughter really feels some type of way. It's not that she feels some type of way. It's like she more hurt behind the obituary. And Miss Carolyn has explained to her about the obituary, how the obituary went, but in her heart, she feel like Miss Bland left her out of the obituary on purpose. And that's why she has so much animosity towards Toy.
I just feel like this. When this come back and it's the baby, I don't want no sorries from nobody. Keep your sorries. I don't want no sorries.
I'm not giving you a sorry.
Okay? I'm not asking you to.
Shut up.
Hold on.
I don't care.
Hold on.
She thinks she can say something to me because I'm a child. I'm gonna keep talking to her because she thinks she's hard and I will punch her in her face. I don't care.
Oh, no,
I don't
no,
care.
no.
I've been waiting for her already.
No.
I don't care.
No.
I don't care.
No.
I don't care.
Listen. Miss Hooker, you're gonna have your day. And it's today. Okay. But what we're not gonna do, I'm not gonna let you in this courtroom step so far outside the lines that you regret it. Because at this moment, you don't just represent yourself. When you become a mom, you represent your baby.
One of my family members is in the obituary, but my baby one. Y'all can keep my family member out the obituary.
Okay, first of all, slow down, because I want to understand.
Why you tell me?
She said one of her family members was in the obituary.
But there was no mention of Kanaya. Was this intentional, Miss Baker, Miss Bland? Was this something that...
like this, Judge. She went and finished up without me. So, Kanaya did get left out. So did my grandmother, and so did one of my sisters.
Okay.
It wasn't just the baby.
Okay.
We weren't together. Nobody was thinking right at that time. We weren't none of us together. She went ahead to try to call herself helping me, and she was going ahead of me to finish it up, and all three of these people got left out, so it wasn't just Kanaya.
Ms. Bland, did you, and I want to ask you this, did you intentionally leave Kanaya out of that obituary because you knew there was a question surrounding the paternity?
Yes, I did. First of all, let me say this. My mama has a relationship with them. I don't. It may or may not be his. I did not put the baby name in there just in case it isn't. My mom has to read that obituary. She lost a child. Nobody else lost one. So if this baby turned out to be his, that's a death all over again. Do I want my mama to look in there and look at a reminder of a baby that was supposed to be his and it wasn't? No, I do not. I'm thinking about my mama feelings. It don't have nothing to do with her.
And so,
nothing.
So now let's come forward. If it is Keyshawn's child, well, your family, your mother has expressed she has not had an ill will towards this baby or Miss Hooker, but will your family accept Kanaya?
Yes, they will.
They don't have to.
I already you know what I said already, Judge? Since she got left out the obituary, I have already told them, if it comes back saying Kanaya belongs to Keyshawn, I'm going directly back to the funeral home and get a set of obituaries made, so when this baby grow up and she read her dad's obituary, there's her name.
That is honorable.
And my mama did mention it. And I said, Ma, I thought the baby may not be his. That's what I said. Because that's what she said. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. But myself, if I'd have been there to finish up, I was putting her in there because my feelings was, I'd rather her been in there, if she was, than for her to grow up and, hey, I'm reading my dad's obituary, but where my name at?
Exactly.
I didn't want that.
I think it's time for the results. Thank you. Jerome? Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased Keyshawn Abraham, we performed what is called a DNA test with his surviving parents, Carolyn Baker and Lamond Abraham. With that being said, the results determined if there is a viable relationship between the child, Kenaya Abraham, and Ms. Baker and Mr. Abraham. In the case of Coates, Hooker versus Baker, when it comes to 11-month-old Kenaya Abraham, it has been determined by this court the percentage of relatedness between Ms. Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Kenaya Abraham is 0%.
And this is why right here.
Ms. Baker, are you all right? Do you need to sit down? Do you need to sit down, ma'am?
I didn't tell them. They weren't gonna tell me sorry, so I'm not telling them nothing.
Do you need to sit down, ma'am?
Nobody did anything to you, honey.
I don't care. Miss
Nobody
Philly do nothing to me,
did
but I don't
nothing
like
to
you.
That's
I don't like you.
fine, sweetie. It's
I don't like you.
fine.
Okay, I don't care.
It's
Nothing.
okay.
Stop talking to me then.
Nobody did anything
Stop talking
to you.
Ms. Hooker,
No,
just stop.
Stop it! Stop, please! Just stop!
Okay, come on, let's go.
You do owe my
Let's
mom
go.
an apology, though. That's when you owe one.
No, excuse me.
Because you know you slept with somebody else.
Miss
And this is
Hooker.
what happens.
Miss
You better
Hooker.
shut up.
No.
Hey, go in there! Go in there! Go in there! You do too much!
I don't care because you always think you can touch me. Let me.